What would you do if the people who raised you stole from you? Not strangers. Not scammers. But your own parents, taking your hard-earned money to save the golden child of the family, your irresponsible sister. No warning. No apology. Just betrayal served with a smile. But what they didn't know was that I had a secret. A secret that would flip the power dynamic, expose years of favoritism, and leave them speechless. They thought they took everything from me. But what I revealed changed everything. Stay with me, this story isn't just about stolen money. It's about choosing self-respect over blood ties, and what happens when the quiet one finally speaks up. It wasn't that I wasn't loved. It was just that she was loved louder. At 17, I started working. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to build a future where I wasn't just surviving. I did odd jobs, helped neighbors, picked up shifts during holidays when everyone else was relaxing. I skipped birthday dinners, vacations, and even friendships just to save money. I had a dream of starting something on my own. Maybe a business. Maybe a degree I could pay for without help. By the time I turned 24, I had saved up $15,000. It might not sound like a fortune to some, but to me, it was years of sacrifice, years of swallowing my wants, my feelings, my place in the world. That money meant freedom, security, and finally, a sense that I had done something just for me. Then one day, it was gone. Just like that. I remember logging into my bank account to check something small and noticing a huge drop in my balance. I stared at the screen, refreshed the page, thinking it had to be a mistake. But it wasn't. Several large transactions had cleared out my account. My heart was pounding. I thought maybe my account had been hacked. I was scared, not just because of the money, but because I didn't understand what was happening. I ran downstairs, told my parents what I had seen. My mom looked at me and said something I'll never forget. She said they had used the money for Emily. She had been accepted into her dream university, and they didn't have enough to cover her tuition deposit. They needed it fast. I asked them why they didn't ask me. My dad just shook his head and said because we knew you'd say no, and we didn't have time for drama. I felt like the wind had been knocked out of me. I didn't even get to say yes or no. They didn't even think I deserved the choice. I stood there in the living room, stunned, realizing that they didn't see that money as mine. They saw it as the family's. And more than that, they saw my sacrifices as Emily's stepping stones. What made it worse, much worse, was that Emily didn't know. They told her the university had offered her a scholarship. They said she had earned it because of her grades and extracurriculars. She believed it. She posted about it online. She thanked her teachers. She walked around glowing with pride, thinking she had achieved something extraordinary. I watched silently, day after day, as she lived in that illusion, while I drowned in silence. At first, I told myself it didn't matter. That I was the older brother, and maybe this was what being a big sibling meant. Sacrificing. Being invisible. Being useful. But the resentment started to grow. Not because of Emily. But because of the lie. The betrayal. The fact that my parents didn't even try to make things right. In their eyes, I was being selfish for being upset. My mom even said, "You'll make that money back soon, but this opportunity only comes once." As if my years of effort meant nothing. As if my dreams were disposable. And the final insult came when my dad joked at dinner one night, "We should have had two Emilys instead." Everyone laughed. Except me. I started avoiding the house. I stayed late at work. Ate alone. Laughed less. I began writing things down. Every bank transaction, every date, every conversation. I created a file called Truth. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. But I knew I couldn't live with this secret sitting on my chest forever. Then one evening, while we were all eating dinner, Emily started talking about her classes. About how proud she was. And then she said something that broke me. She said, "I'm so glad I earned that scholarship. It shows that hard work really pays off." I looked at my parents. They looked away. I felt something snap inside me. That night, I sent Emily a message asking if we could meet alone. I told her I needed to talk about something important. We met at a quiet cafe the next morning. I opened my laptop and showed her the folder. The truth. I didn't speak much. I let the numbers speak for themselves. I watched her face change as she read through the receipts, the withdrawals, the messages I had with our parents. At first she was confused. Then shocked. And then angry. Not at me. At them. She cried. Right there in the cafe. She asked why they didn't tell her. I didn't have an answer. I just told her I thought she deserved to know. She said she felt like a fraud. Like the pride she carried for months was fake. She apologized again and again. But I wasn't angry at her. I was angry that they had lied to both of us. That they had stolen not just my money, but her belief in herself. That night, she confronted them. It was the loudest fight I'd ever heard in that house. She yelled. She demanded answers. My mom cried. My dad tried to downplay it. They said they were trying to protect her. That she wouldn't have been able to go otherwise. But Emily wasn't having it. She said they didn't just lie to her, they used her. That they made her unknowingly step on her brother to reach her dream. For once, someone else stood up for me. And it felt strange. I didn't know whether to cry or feel relieved. Things were never the same after that. Emily applied for financial aid. She started working part-time on campus. She promised to pay me back, even if it took years. She even took fewer classes to reduce the cost. We grew closer. We started talking more. About our childhood. About how things were always uneven. How my silence was mistaken for strength. I moved out a few months later. Rented a small apartment with what little money I had left. Started fresh. It wasn't easy. There were nights I went to bed angry, frustrated, empty. But there were also nights I felt proud. Because I had taken my voice back. I had told the truth. My parents and I barely speak now. They think I betrayed the family. That I turned Emily against them. But I didn't turn her against anyone. I just gave her the truth and let her decide. And she chose what was right. People often say blood is thicker than water. But what they forget is that respect is thicker than tradition. That love without honesty is just manipulation in disguise. I didn't share this story for sympathy. I shared it because I know there are people out there who've been silenced in their own homes. Who've been told to shut up for the sake of peace. Who've been used in the name of love. To them I say, your pain is real. Your anger is valid. And your truth matters. Speak it. Even if your voice shakes. Because silence doesn't protect love. It protects lies. And you deserve better. I lost $15,000. But I gained a sister who finally saw me. I gained the courage to walk away. I gained a future I get to build on my terms. And no one will ever steal that from me again. I know this story wasn't easy to hear, because it wasn't easy to live. But if you've made it this far, I know you're someone who values the truth even when it hurts. And I've shared even more stories that go just as deep, raw, real, and unforgettable. So don't stop here. Click on the next video showing right now on your screen. It's one of the most personal ones I've ever shared, and trust me, it's even more shocking than this. Go watch it now. I'll meet you there.